Hello viewers, I'm Priyanka from Business Northeast. As we all know, in our business conversation section, we have all the dignitaries of this region like heads of departments, heads of governments, political parties and so on. Today we have Dr. Swapnil Sinha, who is the head of the department and the CEO of the BioNEST Guwahati. So ma'am, we welcome you to the
Thank you.
show.
Yeah. Hello.
Ma'am, we would like to know how the idea of BioNEST has originated and how it has evolved over the years.
So, we established BioNEST in the year 2021. And like you said, the idea, so at that point of time, I have my own startup here in IIT Guwahati, and we were developing a product which is into healthcare. So that time I realized as an entrepreneur that there are certain gaps which are there in the northeastern region. The main gap was there was less accessibility to infrastructure for the deep tech innovation startups, and the other gap was there was no investor connect, and of course funding was an issue for most of the startups, and in the whole northeast there was not a fully equipped bio incubator. So that is when we thought of writing to the government for funding us a bio incubator within IIT Guwahati. And that is how IIT Guwahati BioNEST was established in 2021. But we actively started our operations in 2022 since it was COVID when we got the project. And since then, we have emerged as the leading incubator, bio incubator across Northeast. We have around 63 incubatees as of now, and we have 5 funding schemes in different areas for our startups. One of the funding schemes called Northeast Council Ignite Grant, or we call it NEC Ignite, that is funded by Northeastern Council. And this is specific grant for Northeastern startups. Again, the startups that we support, they are primarily from healthcare, from agri-tech and clean energy sector, but we only support deep innovations. Since we are from IT, so we try to support as much as possible the deep tech innovations. And right now, say we have one fully fledged funding scheme from Startup India Seed Fund, in which we give grant up till 10 lakhs, and then we also give investments. Then we recently got one CSR grant from HDFC Bank. It's called Parivartan Grant, that is specifically for renewable energy sector. And then I already told you about NEC Ignite. Another grant that we have is from Nidhi Prayas, Nidhi Seed Fund, SSS we call it. That's again funded by Department of Science and Technology. And also we have one specific, very different kind of a grant scheme for student innovators, and that is specifically in the social innovations. Again, it should be technology support driven, and that is called Sparsh, and that is supported by BIRAC, Government of India. So I believe I just said that
Yes.
what is the idea and how we are emerging.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we have heard that an event is coming up leading to the BRICS, and where you have invited many startups who are
Yeah.
linked to the biotech industry. Can you please elaborate this?
That's a good. So, see, our main objective of establishing such an incubator was always that we want to support the deep tech innovations across Northeast. So, because I realize that there is a lot of potential, but there is less accessibility. So, we keep on organizing events on bigger scale, or you can say on the global pedestal, that where we showcase Northeastern startups to the people who are outside Northeast and at the global perspective, right? And this is what this event is all about. BRICS, we all know it's an organization of 5 countries. So they are doing satellite events across the country, which they are calling as pre-consultation meetings. They are doing this with the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. Again, there is another organization called GCTC, or Global Counterterrorism Council, who is a knowledge partner for this event. The very unique, you can say, point of this event is that what BRICS is trying to do is they want to handpick certain innovations, innovators, and entrepreneurs, and check and put them on a bigger level or bigger pedestal. So these are pre-consultation meetings. The final will be happening on 5th or 7th, tentatively, March in New Delhi, Bharat Mandapam, where all these startups who are handpicked across the country, they will be getting a bigger stage in March, where they will showcase their innovation to the all the BRICS countries. So in that event, there will be delegations from all the BRICS countries and the other countries that have joined recently, the entire BRICS organization, and they will explore the opportunity of expanding their businesses in those countries and kind of an idea exchange. They will also be startups there, so this is not an India event, that's an international event where there'll be all startups from the other BRICS nations. So this kind of consultations that are happening in all the BRICS nation, and then they'll be coming at a same podium and showcasing their ideas. And of course, there are prizes, there are networking opportunities for the startups with investors, with foreign delegates, policy makers. So this meeting, IIT Guwahati meeting, it is happening on February 7th, and I really welcome all the youth across Northeast, specifically Assam, to attend this event, because this will give you a opportunity to see what the startup ecosystem is out there in Northeast, and how IIT Guwahati is catapulting this entire ecosystem to a newer levels. So yeah, again, I welcome all the youth here to have active participation.
Now, how many startups were selected and what was the basis of this selection?
So the selection criteria was, I won't say it was very exhaustive, because we wanted to give fair chance to everyone. Um, Basically, the selection procedure was done by GCTC. Like I said, they are the knowledge partner for this. There was a registration form where startups were asked about their ideas, not just the startups. If there's a student, and if the student has some good innovative idea, so this competition is called as Idea Challenge. So there was a form in that they have to fill their idea, what is their idea, what problem their idea is solving, what is the impact of that idea in society, in socio-economic, from that perspective. So all these things were asked, and we have we are expecting around 500 students across Northeast to attend this event on February 7, and we have around 80 startups across Northeast, and it's a very enthusiastic participation. We are getting startups from Nagaland, we are getting startups from Manipur, from Arunachal, even from Sikkim also. Some startups are coming, huge startups are coming from the state of Meghalaya. So we have Tripura also. So we have fair representation of the entire region in this event. Around 80 plus startups that we have, and around 400 to 500 student participation.
Now, what is the eligibility to be an incubator in this center?
Oh, so yeah, that's a good question. So, I always say, so I answer this question in two ways. First is, anybody who has got a very good tech idea, innovation, they're always welcome in my office. They can knock my office anytime. But having said that, there is an official procedure. Say, if you have a company and you want to incubate with us, and you know that you have a tech product, some innovation product, so we have a website in which there's a button called as apply for incubation. You straight away apply for that. We have a form in which you have to tell a little about your company, about your some product which you're currently developing, and also you just have to explain that what you expect from an incubator like us, and that's all. This is all we need. And what I look into any incubatee who comes for incubation is that they should have a conviction, passion to develop something good, out of the box thing. Once you are here, so you just have to fill that form online, and then my team will connect with you. We will have a formal online, or it's a hybrid mode interview, in which you just have to tell what you're doing. It is not something that will be a grueling investor kind of an interview. Just we want to understand better that what you need, right? What any in startup needs in terms of funding, in terms of mentorship, networking, anything. So we just wanted to understand each startup as our case. And that's a simple thing. So we have our rentals, two types of incubations we have. One is a physical incubation where we will give you a lab space or office space as per your requirement. You have access to the laboratory that we have. We have a very cutting edge state of lab, and that you can use that laboratory, the equipment here. So that is called as physical incubation. So that we charge on monthly basis. That's not much. And then we have a virtual incubation. Say if you don't want an office here, you want to connect us remotely, then in that case you won't be getting access to our infrastructure, but else you will be getting everything from mentorship, from any kind of facilitation in terms of patent filing or copyright or any type of mentoring, product development support. So everything else we will give you.
Ma'am, what is the current status of biotech and research in this region?
So, see, always answer this question in two ways. See, once you have institutions like IITs who have a lot of facilities, right, in terms of equipment, in terms of infrastructure, and then we have colleges and universities. Uh, there is huge potential here, and again, Northeast is a it's a diversity hotspot. You have so much diversity in terms of fauna, in terms of flora, and lots can be done. And again, with this startup culture coming trending across the country, um, I have seen an evolution here in northeastern region. When I joined this ecosystem in 2018, there wasn't much. There was no awareness, how to do a startup, how to get funding, and all those things. But I have seen a tremendous, change in the last 2 years, thanks to Government of India, because now a lot of schemes are here from Government of Assam, from government, and after the establishment of Startup India by Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji. So these all have they have acted as a catalyst to the startup ecosystem here. Now I have so many startups coming me on on daily basis, which have their products in the biotech sector. And now when government is totally into implementing the bio E3 policy, these startups will get extra push, because now the government focus is on very very what I would say, it's a so the government is not trying to make India a biomanufacturing hub. And I know that most of the students, biotech students, they know about bio E3 policy because government is talking so much about it. Even the upcoming Advantage Assam, they are having a separate sessions on bio-E3 and the biomanufacturing. So it's a huge potential, and I would say is very promising right now in Northeast. It's very upcoming, and people are trying. Governments are making policies, trying to make policies to making Northeast. It's very strategic also because we are connected with South Asia. Logistics is very connected. So it could be a boost to the biotech industry within Northeast.
Okay. Ma'am, as we know that there is lot of emphasis on AI, data technology these days, and how biotech industries can be benefited with this kind of
See, all
technology.
these technologies, they complement each other, right? So when you talk about AI, it is not just about gaming, it is not just about certain calculations or chat GPT, but AI has a very important role to play in healthcare, in agriculture, in renewable energy also. So like I will tell you as an example. So one of my startups, so when a person goes for cancer diagnostic, so they give their tissues and the histopathology is done. Now the pathologist, it they are overworked in India, right? So with an example I tell you, right? So that will be, you will understand better that how AI can be incorporated in every phase of life. So the pathologist takes huge time to study each and every slides. Now this startup I have, so he is making certain data points which will actually aid the pathologist who is reading the slides, um, and that this using AI, and that will help the pathologist to make the diagnostic decision 100 times faster than he was making before, looking just from his eye, right? So like, this is what I want to tell, that AI has a tremendous power to assist you or assist anybody who's taking decisions. So that will actually, so once you have say 100 data points in front of you to come up for a decision, now let's say that AI is helping you to minimize those data points into two. So your decision making will become faster and more efficient, also very precise also. So AI has role to play in all streams of life, and of course in biotech sector, especially in healthcare, it has a very promising role in the future, especially in diagnostics.
Okay. Ma'am, we have heard about the BIRAC funding. Sorry, cut. Sorry. Ma'am, we have heard of the BIRAC funding. Please let us know about it and how entrepreneurs can avail it.
So BIREC is a spin-off organization from DBT, Department of Biotechnology, and since it was established 2012, if I'm not wrong, I think, yeah, 2012. And since then, so BIRAC is what I would say that's the best thing that happened in Indian biotech startup sector, and it has transformed the biotech industry in India, supporting so many entrepreneurs who are into bio sector, you can say, because it is biotechnology industry research council. So and they have they have different types of grants. They don't have just grants for developing a product. They also have grant for establishing an incubator. So when I say BioNEST, so BioNEST is one of the programs of BIRAC, in which they help setting up an incubator for academic institutions, standalones also, where they give support for equipment, for infrastructure also. And then BIRAC has many different levels of grants and investments also, investment schemes. BIRAC comes where the industrial research ends. So when you have, so any product, it has a life cycle, right? So when you say TRL 1 or 2, you are doing lab research. But once your lab research is done, you have, say, applied a patent also, then you have to develop into a product. Then you have to prove the concept, and you call it POC, right? So BIRAC starts its grant from that level. That so their POC generally is the grant is BIG grant, or Biotechnology Ignition Grant. And then there are, so once you have the POC developed, then of course you will go for validation, you go for clinical trials. If we talk about the healthcare, for that they have another funding program which is called as SIBRI. Then they have BIPP, many kinds of, you go on the BIRAC website, you will find there are many types of grants and many type of funding programs for the startups. They also have beautiful funding programs and support system for the incubators. They have MedMitra, in which, if you have a startup in healthcare sector, all the regulatory procedures, connection to CROs and all, they facilitate through that portal. And now they are trying to establish different bio manufacturing hubs across the country, which will become state-of-art facilities for developing, piloting any kind of biomanufactured products, and up for sale.
And what are the current projects that your department is handling now?
So mostly the projects that we have, because we are an incubator, we don't have research projects. We only have projects which support startup ecosystem. So like earlier I said, we have a funding scheme from Startup India Seed Fund. Under this funding scheme, we give grants up to 10 lakhs. And if the startup needs more than 10 lakhs, then we give it in the form of investment. And that quantum is up to 50 lakhs, right? So that much we can give to one startup. The second funding scheme that we have is funded by DST, Nidhi program of DST. Again, it is a seed fund. The corpus that we give generally to the startups is generally 1 CR up to. And this is in the form of investment format, or debt also. And then we have, recently we have this HDFC Parivartan. It's a CSR initiative of HDFC Bank. This is, we are giving grant only up to 5 lakhs to the startups who are working into in the renewable energy sector. And then we have Northeastern Council funded program called NEC Ignite, in which again we are supporting DeepTech innovations. The amount of grant that we give under this program is 10 lakhs, up to 10 lakhs, to only the startups who have registered in any 8 northeastern states. And then we have another program called Sparsh that is again funded by BIRAC. That is for social innovators. So that is kind of but unique because in which there are Sparsh fellows. The person need not to have a company when they join this program. It is a pre-incubation program, and then once you graduate with, I would say that if your idea is promising into the problem statement, then you are given a Kickstarter grant of say around 5 to 10 lakhs, in which you will develop the product, establish the company, and go at that startup the an entire portfolio kind of a thing. So yeah, these are the funding schemes that we currently have.
Okay. Ma'am, what are the challenges of biotech industry so far as education, entrepreneurship, and research and development is concerned, so far as Northeast region is concerned?
So see, like I said, when we established the center, still there are, I would say, three gap areas. One is the accessibility to the regulatory network, because when I say regulatory, when you develop a product in healthcare or in agriculture, there is a huge what you say a valley which needs to be crossed before it reaches the market, and which is you have to do the entirely the full thing which is called as regulatory compliance. In so when we talk about say a drug, right, if you're developing a drug for diabetes for example, so finally to sell it to the people or to the patients, you have to do a very detailed and exhaustive clinical trial, right? And that is done in a clinical setting. It's and you have to get your uh, test or diagnostic test or drug, whatever you have made your innovation with the CDSO is the agency which gives you all these approvals. So this is a very big and a very time consuming process, which of course no startup can ignore this, because if you don't do this you won't get approval, and then your product, you cannot sell your product, right? So this entire thing is very much it's not very streamlined here. We don't have CROs in across Northeast, which you call as contract research organization, which will help you in doing all those clinical trials. So that is one gap area, and people also don't know what regulatory clearances they might be needing. So in food product also, you need to get FSI licenses and all those things. Beverages, anything, non-alcoholic, alcoholic, doesn't matter, but you need to get this FSI clearances. So all these things, most of the time, startups or MSMEs, they don't know about. So this knowledge gap is huge. That needs to be filled. Again, there is very less investor interest. When we started this incubator, there was no investor interest, there was no investor connect. If we invited investors here, they were just like thinking that what are they going to find in Northeast. But we changed that thinking, we changed that mindset of investors, and now in our events we get a lot of investor footfall, and they have started making investments in the companies across Northeast, though it is still slow, but I know it's going to pick up. So, in terms of gaps, what you talk about, I think what we need more here is establishment of certain incubators, with more facilities to support biotech-based products. So that facilities we do need here. Ours is there, but then if you talk about other states like Tripura, Mizoram, they don't have that much of facilities where they have this cutting-edge equipment support. They have to come here. If they contact us, we help them. But we need to have such incubators across more incubators with state-of-art facilities. I think that is needed.
Ma'am, where do you think the biotech industry will reach in the next 5 to 10 years from now?
It has a huge and actually very promising future. And everything, like Sam Altman also says that everything will switch to AI at one point of time, be it biotech sector or anything else. Um, Again, when you talk about the therapeutics or diagnostics, it's going to change to everything to molecular level, and that will require huge innovations that are happening right now. And it's like everything will become smart, smart diagnostics, smart therapeutics also. So whatever is going to happen in next 5-10 years, the innovations are happening now. So it's bustling all over the world and also in Northeast. And I could see that the kind of startups that I'm seeing right now across Northeast is way better and way intensely tech driven, as I was looking at maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm very hopeful that in next 5 6 years we'll be seeing many good unicorns from biotech sector within Northeast.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. We have
Thank you.
learned a lot. So, viewers, we have learned a lot from ma'am, and we are really waiting for the upcoming BRICS event. So, keep watching Business Notice for all this kind of information. This is Priyanka Chakravarti. Again, I say that this is one of the best portal which you will never get this kind of information anywhere. Thank you.